Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So if you guys don't know me very well, which most of you probably don't because you're new here, hello everybody that is new, welcome. So if you don't know very much about me, you probably don't know that I grew up in a very rural Missouri farming town. To give you some idea, my graduating class was like a 90 to 100 people, somewhere in there. That's it. So I grew up in a very rural, I don't like saying we were poor, but we were not well off. We were okay, but now that I'm an adult and have seen how other people grew up, I would say we're pretty fucking poor. We lived in like the same house my entire childhood. It was really small. You haven't lived until you've eaten nothing but fucking mayonnaise sandwiches and poor people food like Hamburger Helper every day of your life. So I no longer live in that area, but it was an experience, and I think it would be really interesting to watch a video called Life of a Billionaire's Son.
Your life is like a movie, and you're the main character. So why wouldn't you make it the greatest movie you've ever seen?
We all like a bit of the good life. Some the money, some the drugs, others a sex game.
Sorry, but I don't know, have you guys ever watched a YouTube channel called Internet Historian? He literally had made one of it's in my top 5 favorite YouTube videos ever. It's the Club Penguin one. Go look at his channel, I'll link it down below. But the way he narrates and his voice literally sounds like the narration in this, and it's so fucking pretentious because an Internet Historian's video is supposed to be like funny and kind of pretentious, that's the joke, but he's using it seriously here and I cannot.
The glamour or the fame. But a rock and roller, oh, he's different. Why? Because a real rock and roller wants the fucking lot.
But get the fuck out of here. You are not a rock and roll star. You are not some sort of rock star just because your daddy gave you a plane and you have all this money to buy like pretty much escorts. I don't care, even if they're not having sex with them, which they probably are. Just because you have all the money to buy this shit does not mean you're a fucking rock star. You grew up very wealthy and your daddy gave you all of this, so not sure why he's trying to market himself as this rock and roll like hard guy when most rock and roll, most people who are artists like that, they became artists like that because they just are very good at music. They practice for years. I don't understand this like we're living the rock star lifestyle bullshit when it's like you're literally not. Your daddy bought you that jet, honey.
Beautiful girls.
It's super funny too because he's the one that's making this. Like, it's not like a biography, like it's him talking about himself. But also, marijuana isn't really that cool. Weed isn't really a delinquent thing anymore, to be completely honest. It's legal in California, which is probably where he lived. I think it says that he moved to Europe or something later in the video. But it's like, I think they're in California right now, and it's like, even if they aren't right now, it's not really that fucking edgy. It's not early 2000s, like marijuana, weed. It's not that cool. Like, everybody smokes weed. It's kind of hard to find people that don't smoke weed. But I love all the shots of them, like, vaping. Like vaping, and they have, like, joints and shit. Like, cool. You smoke weed? Wow, man. Wow, man. You're not like the other billionaires. You don't do cocaine, man. We do weed, man. Like, what? I cannot. And the girls, it's sad. It's really sad that people value women as like a prize for whenever they gain wealth, but it's kind of on these girls too, because they put themselves in a position to be valued as items that can be bought with wealth. Just very kind of sad, very sad. It's even more sad because this is gonna be his entire life and he thinks that this is just like peak human existence. There's more to life than this.
It hasn't always been like this. I was born in Australia and I was raised by a single mom because my parents were divorced at a very young age. My mother has to be the sweetest person I know in the world. Not having a dad around, I misbehaved a lot. She always saw me as a perfect child, so I got away with a lot more than I should have. This meant that I had to move to a lot of different schools, 10 to be exact. I didn't grow up rich and I didn't grow up poor. I was fairly average, and I didn't know my dad had a lot of money until I turned 15. This is when he sold his company for $300 million. Then, my life changed forever.
So basically, okay, so he grew up in Australia. He treated his single mom like shit. But his dad also, they had money. When people say they grow up average, I would never say I grew up average. When people say they grow up average, they probably lived in a really nice suburb, in a really big house, and had everything they needed. So for him to sit here and talk about how he treated his single mom like shit, and then as soon as he found out that his dad became like a billionaire or whatever, he just went crazy, and it just shows his like character. And the fact that he thinks that he's like this delinquent, I'm a delinquent. Like, honey, you aren't. Honey, you grew up pretty wealthy. You've always been pretty wealthy. I'm sure your mom was well taken care of after the divorce. Your mommy was doing fine. I don't know what exactly his dad did. If anyone knows, put it down below. I may look into it more to see like what exactly his dad did. But you don't just become a billionaire. Like, this isn't like some fucking like crazy internet story where someone like sells their company and becomes a billionaire. Like, he probably was extremely well off beforehand. And he took care of his mommy, and where is his mom now is what I would like to know. Like, how is your mommy now? Like, is she just out of the picture because her piece of shit son like abandoned her as soon as her like ex-husband became a billionaire? Because it sounds like you're kind of a fucking douche. Why do white people think it's really cool to do backflips?
Yes, my dad has a private jet, and I love flying in it. Yes, my dad has a mansion and cars, and I love making videos with them. Who wouldn't? But I have never pretended that those things were something that I earned. And I recognize that my dad is the one who worked hard for them. This is why I have the ambition to work hard enough to achieve a successful life of my own, and break the stereotype of all rich kids being lazy, spoiled, and relying on their trust funds. If I was going to survive in this world, I needed two things. 1, discipline. 2, friends in high places.
Ooh. Okay. Alright, so here's the thing. Surviving in this world. You're not gonna have any problem with that, honey. You wanna talk about surviving in this world? I moved out whenever I was 18 years old to get away from my parents and move to a bigger city to kind of get more opportunity because I didn't want to live in my small town for the rest of my life. Moved out with nothing, and I couch surfed. An 18-year-old couch surfing. First place I lived in, had to move out because the dude I was living with raped me. So I moved in, lived on this girl's couch until I could work and afford a what was it? I think it was $400 a month apartment. It was really trash. Every night my car got broken into. One time my apartment got broken into, and some person had went through like my panty drawers and shit, and like everything was open. They tried to rob me. Moved to a nicer apartment after that once I got out of culinary school. But basically, how I fed myself during the time between like 18 and 20. I would go on dates with older dudes that were like in their 30s, cheating on their wives. I know, I'm not perfect, but I was a child trying to survive. I had no skills whatsoever, no social skills. I was in culinary school, but you know. So I would go on dates with these men that were cheating on their wives. I don't even feel bad for using them because I knew all of them were cheating on their wives. I would go on dates with them. I wouldn't necessarily have sex with them, but it would be free food, and that would be my meal for the day. Culinary school pretty much were my meals. Eating like leftover pastries, bread. Bread was my favorite because it was actually something savory instead of eating cake as meals. Because I was, you know, I couldn't work full time because I was going to school full time. And it's insane to me that this dude thinks that he is some sort of delinquent, mischief maker. Like, he had it so hard and he's gonna have to work so hard. You are never gonna know what it's like to go hungry. You are never gonna fucking know what it's like to not have something you want. You are never, you know, I had to save up for like half a year to get a shitty fucking laptop from Walmart. Like, you don't know what it's like to struggle. You don't know what it's like to have your parents argue about money and feel like it's your fault because you exist. And maybe if you didn't exist, your parents would have money. You don't know what it's like to grow up as a poor kid, and this is why no one sympathizes with you. And you're wearing your little leather jacket. Your little leather jacket. It's like Balenciaga. My leather jacket.
So I was sent to one of the world's most elite boarding schools called Millfield, a school attended by countless athletes, bankers, CEOs, politicians, royalty, millionaires, even the pop star Ella Eyre. And then there was me, a delinquent, rebel, outsider, misfit. But this time, I wasn't alone. There were many other kids just like me. We'd all been sent there for reform. And we weren't about to let that happen. We spent the next 2 years at school, bending and breaking the rules in every way, shape, and form.
So he wants to go in and talk about how he like skipped class and is like smoking weed and fucking thoughts and shit like that. And it's like, dude, come the fuck on. You were given opportunities that a lot of kids would fucking murder someone for. Like, you're skipping school at a boarding school that costs more than like both of my parents' like incomes put together. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Thanks for that, Ulrich. Appreciate it, dude. You're skipping class at a boarding school that people would give their fucking, like, and they would just give away everything they have to go to. You don't appreciate anything you have. You should be grateful that your father was able to send you to this pretentious boarding school. You shouldn't be skipping class. Whenever I found out I was going to be able to go to culinary school, it wasn't my first option. I wanted to go to school for psychology. We couldn't afford it. Sorry, life sucks when you're poor. We were like making just enough money to not get loans and shit necessary for me to go to a 4-year school. So I chose a tech school so my parents wouldn't feel burdened by having to spend every dime they have to send me to a school. So fuck you. Whenever I got to go to culinary school, which honestly is probably less than your fucking tuition at a boarding school, I cherished it. I was so fucking grateful. I showed up to class every day. I graduated with fucking honors. I put everything I had into it. And while it may not have been the career pathway I wanted, and honestly it may be something I do pursue more in the future, I still am extremely grateful, and I put my all into it. And for you to like want to skip school and to smoke weed and like do dumb shit and do flips and shit, I don't know, do backflips, I don't know. Like, it's so fucking odd to me, because you have so many opportunities, dude, and you don't appreciate any of them. And that's why you're not breaking the stereotype of rich kids being spoiled brats. Because you're not grateful. You don't know what it's like to be grateful. And if you did grow up average, you would feel grateful. Kids that grow up poor and get opportunities and stuff, you can see it like for like people that maybe grew up really poor and became musicians and got wealthy through that, or YouTubers that grew up very poor. Most of them are extremely grateful. They give back. They don't feel like they're above other people. They don't sleep on the opportunities that they were given. It sucks that people like this are people that are in like the top 1%. It really sucks because so many other people deserve it. Dude, you know how I'd chop off one of my fucking legs right now for like 10 grand. This kid probably gets 10 grand a weekend for allowances.
It was my last straw. Some of us decided that on my 18th birthday, we needed to skip school and go to the south of France to party. When we got back, the whole school was talking about it, and I was asked to leave, along with 25 others that week.
Yeah, you were asked to leave because you're skipping school at a pretentious school that you got an opportunity and those other 25 kids got an opportunity to go to, whereas children that were less fortunate they probably struggled to try and get into that school. And you and those other 25 kids took their fucking spot and fucking shat all over it. There's only a specific number of spots for schools like that. And you pushed out children that would have taken that opportunity and done something great, and you shat all over it. You're not cool. You're not edgy. You're ungrateful. You're ungrateful for the opportunity. And if I was your dad, I would have cut you off right there, honey. I would have been like, enjoy working at a fucking pizza place, you fucking piece of shit. I'll pay for your apartment until you get a job. Once you get a job, within like a month or two, you need to get a job. Once you do, done. You're cut off. You get nothing until you learn to grow up and act better. That's trash. That's not edgy. You have so much going for you. It's not cool. You're not cool. Something I do want to point out, I don't think he understands why people are delinquents. I don't know why rich, privileged people want to be delinquents and stuff, because the reason why poor kids act out is because most of the time their parents aren't there for them. No one's there for them. The school system isn't there for them. The government isn't there for them. They don't feel like they have anything going for them. They don't feel like they have a future, and they don't feel like anyone cares about them, so why should they care about themselves? That's why they're fucking doing heroin and smoking weed and like skipping class, acting out, because they want help, but at the same time they don't feel like anyone will ever help them. That's why they act out. That's why people are delinquents. That's why they're punk, all that shit. That's not you. Your parents loved you. Your parents gave you everything, and you want to repay them by doing this. Can't relate.
3 things my dad's always said you need for success. First, an idea. Then, a lot of hard work and time. Third, you need some luck. So, if I was going to create my own world, I needed to know how to make money. And since he knows how to do that better than anyone, I began to work for one of his companies at Abbey Road Studios, London.
You got kicked out of a school that your daddy paid for you to go to, and your dad gave you an opportunity to work at his company. I hate rich people so fucking much. I don't understand how people that are so wealthy by like running their own companies are so fucking incompetent. I understand loving your kid, but part of loving your child is not rewarding them for bad behavior. It's not rewarding them for having no ambition. And like, you got a job at your daddy's company. How unique. Definitely not like the other rich boys. So basically he ends up creating his production company, which is just him being a YouTuber, and he's gonna create a clothing brand, which very original. This is fucking pathetic. This is fucking pathetic. Basically, this dude was given a ton of opportunities, blew them all so he could become a YouTuber. Something, I just don't get it. Something that I'm not really sure why he's pursuing whenever he has other opportunities, and I'm sure his daddy is very proud. I can't relate to any of this. It's extremely fucking cringy. It's really fucking sad. It's... Why? There's nothing wrong with growing up wealthy. There's nothing wrong with everything being handed to you. There's nothing wrong with being privileged. There's nothing wrong with it, but the thing is you need to be grateful for what you have. Because not everybody, well, 99% of people do not have the opportunities that you do. You need to take the opportunities you have and do great things with them. Not become a YouTuber and talk about being a delinquent and being so cool and edge and shit. And it's just not cool. I don't get it. I can't relate. I don't really understand. And he really just proved that he is another douchey rich kid that isn't grateful for everything their parents have done, isn't grateful for their parents' hard work and networking, and is just gonna do nothing with their lives. They're just gonna live off their parents' money and be given all their opportunities. And while he may have worked for his daddy, it's still his daddy giving him money, you know? Like, if you ask your daddy for a raise, your daddy's probably gonna give you a raise. Your daddy's probably gonna give you money when you want it. And I don't know. I just be grateful for everything you have. Christmas is in 2 days, boys. So enjoy hanging out with your family, whether they are wealthy or poor. Be grateful. Tell your parents that you love them and you're grateful for everything they have done for you, because I doubt this dude tells his dad that he's grateful and appreciates him. So, you know, I don't know. I am pretty grateful that, the word of the day is grateful. I'm pretty grateful that I did grow up poor. I am pretty grateful I grew up in a small town, because I think it did make me extremely humble. I think it's why I'm not this huge narcissist. I think it's why I like helping others, and I can see different perspectives of things, because there's a lot that you don't experience when you grow up wealthy, as far as like socially and with your family and stuff. So yeah, leave your opinions down below. I'll link the video down below. It pretty much went viral, so yeah, go give it a dislike, I don't know. But yeah, leave your opinions down below. I would love to hear if you grew up pretty wealthy, and your opinions on this, or if you grew up poor, or just kind of in the middle. But yeah. Enjoy your Christmas. I hope you enjoy it. It's crazy. This year has went by really fast. I look forward to making so much more content for you guys in the coming year. I'm really, really excited to take this more seriously and be more consistent. There's a lot of cool stuff coming, and I'm excited. Despite any bullshit, I'm excited, and I'm grateful for you guys. So yeah, check out my Patreon, where I am doing cosplay and sewing blogs, and check out my Instagram, check out my Twitter, and follow me on all those platforms. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can get notifications whenever I am streaming. I just bought Sims 3 with some DLC. I've never played Sims before. It's on sale on Steam during their winter sale for $12. It's originally $80 and it's on sale for $12. So definitely go buy it if you want the game. But I'm excited because I am going to start doing a Let's Play for it and doing lots of fun stuff. I want to start a cult. So yeah. Woo! Have a good day, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye.